Hi, today I'm going for lunch. I mean, it's a beautiful day. We've got blue sky, sunshine, gentle breeze. It's not very warm, I have to admit. But I thought, what shall I do today? I could climb a mountain, I could go walk around a lake. And I thought, no, I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to go out to lunch somewhere special, somewhere really nice, somewhere where I've had lunch a couple of times before and I've really enjoyed it. Now, it's not a restaurant, it's not a pub, it's not a little cafe by a river, but it's somewhere that's got one of the best lunch seats in the Lake District with one of the finest views, and I can guarantee you there won't be anybody else there.
Haha, famous last words. From the car parking space at the western end of Loweswater, we walk up the hill to join up with the old road to Mossa. A right turn here leads us down a gentle slope with a stunning view of Loweswater to our right. We ignore the first left turn, a footpath sign for foul sight, and carry on to a gate close to a seat, where we turn left onto the fell. After a good half-mile of steady climbing, we'll pass a sheepfold and cross Crabtree Beck. We'll then take a short but steep ascent beside a wire fence. At the top, we bear right to head for the southern summit and one of the finest lunch seats in the entire Lake District. There you are, say what you like. I think this stunning view of Loweswater is one of the finest low-level views in the whole of the Lake District. Here we are, our gateway to the fellside. Trouble is, it's well and truly locked. No matter, it is hop over the stile at the side time. This is a nice wide path with lots of signs of local life. Sheep feeding pens, the remains of an old quarry, and to our right, Loweswater, which is a lake that is a bit of a rebel. Just a few miles to the southeast are some of the highest mountains in England, whereas about 8.5 miles in the other direction is the Irish Sea. So you could be forgiven for thinking that the waters flowing out of Loweswater would head out across the flat coastal plain to the coast. But they don't. Unlike all the other lakes, the water from Loweswater does its own thing and heads inland. In effect, it goes on a scenic tour over to Crummock Water, then on down the Vale of Lawton to Cockermouth, and then on to the coast. In effect, it's almost 3 times the distance to get to the same place.
Interesting little group of stones. They fell over them. It's some kind of enclosure, probably a sheep enclosure I would have thought, but actually it's been built, part of the side of that is into the crag that's come down, so the wall, it sort of goes round in a circle and the far end is the crag, and then I assume it's a sheep enclosure. It might actually have been something to do with the lead mines that were here. This area had quite a few workings of lead mines, so it might be, but I haven't researched it, so I don't know. So I'll leave that one with you. This is Crabtree Beck, which, as you can see, is a tiny little stream that seems to be no problem to anybody. You can jump across it. But actually, it's also the cause of a tragedy. Back in 1828, a little way down the fell, there was a lead mine. And the lead mine had a reservoir to power the water wheel. And the reservoir had a dam, and the dam was in very, very poor condition. And it was a wet summer in 1828, and on the 13th of July, after an absolute downpour on these fells, this was a raging torrent. It filled the reservoir, the dam gave way, the whole lot went crashing down the hillside into what is now Crabtree House, but in those days was Crabtree Farm. And the farmer, Josie Torrell, nobody knows if he tried to escape, but he and his young baby son were lost. They were found in Loweswater 3 or 4 days later. They're buried at the church at Loweswater. I suppose it's a sad reminder that the people who lived and worked on these fells faced all sorts of dangers. It's a very remote area, even in modern times. It's very remote, there's nobody around. And this tiny little stream, as I say, big enough to jump across. But when the weather turns nasty, it's amazing what it can do. Anyway, I'm going to go and jump across it now. See, I nearly fell in. Well, that's the stiff part of the climbing over. I've got choice actually. I could turn left over that stile and up over to the top, to the very top of the fell, which is a great idea. But actually, the views from there are not as good as the views if I turn right and go that way. Okay. They are glorious, the views from that way, and you'll probably have it all to yourself. I'm not guaranteeing that, because actually I have been up here and found 1 or 2 other people here, but they tend to be people in the know. They tend to be very often locals. So sheep will be around, so you'll have friends of sheep. You're going to see a fabulous view. I mean, really, one of the best in the lakes. Come on.
A taste of things to come. Crummock Water, beautiful. Here we are, the southern summit. 412 metres above sea level, that's 1,352 feet in old money. But it's not the site of our lunch seat. That's just beyond that cairn down there. A seat for one with a view, please. Oh yes, that will do nicely. Now let's see what's on the menu. For starters, we've got the Vale of Lawton, with Skiddaw and Skiddaw Little Man as a side garnish. To whet my appetite for the main course, there's Whiteside, Grassmore and Whiteless Pike. And there's my dish of the day. Crummock Water, Buttermere, with a side order of red pike. And in the background, Fleetwith Pike and Alfred Wainwright's favourite, haystacks. On the dessert trolley, we've got Melbrick, Hencombe, Gavelfell, Scotefell, Haycock and Core, all served with a side portion of High Nook Tarn. I don't know about lunch. I think I could stay here for afternoon tea and dinner as well. It is totally gorgeous.